My name is Al Hirsch. I'm a folk singer, storyteller, musician. I also do children's programs and senior programs. But tonight, this is really special. I was invited by John Petrello to be his opening act. And he's into these fun songs about ships, and I love the maritime music things. I've been involved in the Stories of the Sea contest. Has anybody here been to that? There's one of the people that wins it all the time right there. That happens at the Highliner usually sometime in May, but we're going to try to get them to switch it to here. Anyway, I write songs and I collect songs, and in the tradition of Burl Ives and Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie and Ivor Haglund, here we go. This is an original song about how Seattle got started. For anybody that's not local and didn't go to local schools and learn the history lesson, you get the whole lesson right here. On a schooner exact, they came from the south. From Portland they sailed through the Columbia's mouth. 22 settlers fresh off the trail came to the sound with wind in their sails. With wind in their sails. The whole Denny party, some 25 strong, left the Midwest on a trail so long. They sent forward scouts from Portland by land, build us a cabin, that was their demand. That was their demand. At Alki Beach the party arrived, finding their cabin and scouts alive. Young David Denny started a home, it still had no roof, he was drenched to the bone. He was drenched to the bone. The stormy November had emptied the sky, the women and children could not help but cry. A young chief Seattle lent them a hand, his tribe the Duwamish, a kind Indian band. A kind Indian band. The Duwamish people had lived here so long, their cousins Suquamish shared in their song. Big clams and salmon, sweet berries galore, a plenty to share, though not even a store. Not even a store. With the help of Seattle, the winter would pass. They soon would be joined by settlers in mass. By springtime they moved to the east of the bay to start a new home and forever to stay. Forever to stay. First called Dewumps, it needed a name. Good old Doc Maynard made the first claim. Let's call it Seattle, the chief is our friend. The name became legend, and that is the end. Or the beginning, you know, a little history. Woo. Thank you. So I mentioned the Duwamish. We're here on Duwamish land. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Duwamish tribe, but they're an unrecognized tribe that has a nice longhouse over on, I'm going to say East Marginal Way, maybe it's West Marginal Way. It's one of those. Anyway, it's fun people to support. In this town here, there was a gentleman named Ivor Haglund, and he was a folk singer and a restaurateur and kind of an interesting fellow that loved folk music. He had his own radio shows and really was promoting music, but he had a complaint. He would tell people, there's no folk songs about the Northwest. Well, every so often Woody Guthrie would come through town, or Pete Seeger, or Burl Ives, and they'd spend some time with Ivor, and finally one of them taught him a song that did come from here. It was written in 1874 down in Pierce County by Francis Henry, his name was. And anyway, the song became very popular. It became Ivor's theme song. Sometimes it's called Acres of Clams. Other times it's called The Old Settler. And there's some sing-along parts if you want to join in. I've traveled all over this country, prospecting and digging for gold. I've tunneled, hydraulicked, and cradled, and I have been frequently sold. So rolling my grub in a blanket, I left all my tools on the ground and started one morning to shank it for a country they call Puget Sound. Here comes the sing-along part. For a country they call Puget Sound, a country they call Puget Sound. I started one morning to shank it for a country they call Puget Sound. Arriving flat broke in midwinter, I found it enveloped in fog and covered all over with timber thick as hair on the back of a dog. I took up a claim in the forest and set myself down to hard toil. For 2 years I chopped and I labored, but I never got down to the soil. I never got down to the soil. I never got down to the soil. For 2 years I chopped and I labored, but I never got down to the soil. And now that I'm used to the climate, I think that if man ever found a place to be peaceful and quiet, that spot is on Puget Sound. I tried to get out of the country, but poverty forced me to stay. And so I became the old settler, and nothing could drive me away. And nothing could drive me away. And nothing could drive me away. And so I became the old settler, and nothing could drive me away. Hey. Thank you. So there was Ivor looking for songs about the Northwest, and one day in the Seattle PI, which in case you don't know was one of our newspapers back in the day, one of the writers named Carlton Fitchett wrote this cute poem about all these places around here that are difficult to pronounce. So if you watch the evening news, you can tell when somebody's not from around here because they don't say Puyallup the right way, or they don't say another particular place. So this song is called The Ode to Puget Sound, originally by Carlton Fitchett and sung by Ivor and made famous by Ivor. That's how I learned it. So let's see if you know how to say all these words. As happy as a butter clam when tides are high, I sing a grateful ode to Puget Sound, the land of everything. I love it from Puyallup and to Laylup, Squim and Pish, and to the Dosey Wallops where so many times I fish. From Brennan to the Bocachee, from Lummi to La Push, and from the lordly Salduck to lovely Duckabush. From Samish to Sammamish, Suquamish to Quilcene, it's a climate that's so friendly and a land that's evergreen. There's peace on the Skokomish, on the Queets and on the Hull. There's calm on the Nisqually, born of ageless ice and snow. It's a land that nature loves so much, she stays the whole year round. I trade a royal palace for a shack on Puget Sound. There's Chimicum and Stillicum, where spouts the gooey duck. There's the singing Stillaguamish and the swirling Skookumchuck. From Oak to Copalis, where the razor clams abound. A little bit of heaven is a shack on Puget Sound. A little bit of heaven is a shack on Puget Sound. Thank you. So you got all those words? When I first started singing this song, I had one that was incorrect. And after singing it a couple times, along comes somebody, oh no, you don't say fished, it's pished. And it's spelled like P-S-Y-C-H-I-S-T or something like that. Anyway, that's a pronunciation guide for you if you're new to the area. Now, when I first started singing sea songs, I was very unfortunate. I was marooned on a desert island, and all I had was a little notebook with somebody had written down lyrics to songs, no chords, and I had a guitar. And I said, well, these are cool words. I got to put these to music. And so that's what I did. Later on, finding out, well, gee, this is a child ballad. Child was a gentleman that went around England and Ireland and Scotland and collected all the ballads back in the 1800s. And the Navy sings it, and there's all kinds of different melodies to it, but I had to create my own. And this song, I call it The Mermaid. Oh, you like mermaids? Oh, good. Well, you might not like this mermaid. Well, she doesn't do anything bad, she's just there. Friday morn when we set sail, and we were not far from land, when our captain spied a pretty mermaid with a comb and a glass in her hand. Oh, the oceans may roll and the storm winds may blow, roll, waves roll, blow, winds blow, while we poor sailors go skipping up to the tops, and the landlubbers lie down below, down below. Well, up spoke the captain of our gallant ship, and a well-spoken man was he. Well, I left my wife in Portland town, tonight she a widow will be. Oh, the oceans may roll and the storm winds may blow, roll, waves roll, blow, winds blow, while we poor sailors go skipping up to the tops, and the landlubbers lie down below, down below. Up spoke the cook of our gallant ship, and a red-hot cook was he. Well, I've got more love for my pots and pans than I do for the bottom of the sea. Oh, the ocean may roll and the storm winds may blow, roll, waves roll, blow, winds blow, while we poor sailors go skipping up to the tops, and the landlubbers lie down below, down below. Well, up spoke our little cabin boy, and a nasty little lad was he. He said, I'm not going down to the bottom, no mermaid's life for me. Oh, the oceans may roll and the storm winds may blow, roll, waves roll, blow, winds blow, while we poor sailors go skipping up to the tops, and the landlubbers lie down below, down below. 3 times round went our gallant ship, 3 times around went she, 3 times round went our gallant ship, and she sank to the bottom of the sea. Oh, the oceans may roll and the storm winds may blow, roll, waves roll, see a very famous singer. His last solo concert when he was in his mid-80s, his name was Burl Ives. And that concert is available on YouTube. You can watch it. It's called Burl Ives' last solo concert. And almost all the people in the audience were gray-haired people that lived up in Anacortes. It was a benefit for the hospital up there. But I took my wife and kids, and they were little kids, and you can hear them laughing in there and stuff because Burl was pretty funny. But he did this one song and I said, oh my goodness, I have to learn that song. Sometimes you hear one and you go, oh, that's just so cool. And I found out the song's real name is The Rhyme of the Chivalrous Shark. Now, if you understand the word chivalry or chivalrous, it's the old knights in shining armor, putting down their cape for the princess to walk across the mud puddle and things like that, opening doors. And anyway, Burl did this song, and I found out who wrote it. And there was a poet, his name is Wallace Irwin. I didn't find this out till just recently, but he was a poet back in the late 1800s, and he wrote humorous things. So I'm going to do a couple of his poems, one that Burl did and one that I did. Now this is a song about a shark that does not eat women or children. He only eats men. The most chivalrous fish of the ocean, to the ladies forbearing and mild. Though his record is dark, it's the man-eating shark that will eat neither woman nor child. He dines upon seamen and skippers, and tourists his hunger assuage, and a fresh cabin boy will inspire him with joy if he's past the maturity age. A doctor, a lawyer, a preacher, he'll gobble one any fine day. But the ladies, God bless him, he'll only address them politely and go on his way. I can readily cite you an instance when a very young lady of Breen, who was tender and sweet and delicious to eat, fell into the bay with a scream. She struggled and flounced in the water and signaled in vain for her bark, and she'd surely been drowned if she hadn't been found by the chivalrous man-eating shark. He bowed in a manner most polished, thus soothing her impulses wild. Don't be frightened, he said, I've been properly bred and will eat neither woman nor child. He proffered his fin and she took it, such gallantry none can dispute. And the vessel they neared and the passengers cheered, and the broadside was fired in salute. And soon they were alongside the vessel, when a life-saving dinghy was lowered, with a pick of the crew and her relatives too, and the mate and the skipper aboard. They took her aboard in the jiffy, while the shark stood attention the while. Then he raised on his flipper and ate up the skipper and went on his way with a smile. This shows that the prince of the ocean, to the ladies forbearing and mild, though his record is dark, it's that man-eating shark who will eat neither woman nor child. So Wallace Irwin wrote the words to that. I don't know who put it to music. Maybe Burl Ives did. This next one was one of the songs I found when I was on that deserted island, and I put it to music. And then I was surprised to find I knew a couple of people that knew it as a poem. I went, wow, how did they know that? Where did they get it? Anyway, this is called the Nautical Extravaganza. It tells another story. I stood one day by a breezy bay, watching the ship sail by, when the tired tar said with a shake of his head, I wish I could tell a lie. I seen some sights that would jigger your lights, and a jigger'd be on his suit, but I ain't worth a darn and spinning a yarn that wanders away from the truth. We were off on the brig, the rig had the forward sail. Accordion plate the dory sheet, for there's going to be a gale. Well, I straightaway did what the captain bid. No sooner the job was through than the north wind woof bounded over the roof. Suffering light she blew. She blew the tars clean off the spars clean off the mast, and anchors and sails and pails and nails went by on the wings of the blast. And before we could look, she blowed the cook straight out of the galley bin, and the pots and the pans and kettles and cans went rattling after him. And she blowed the fire from the galley stove and the coal from the galley bin. Then she whizzed the pace past the captain's face and blowed the beard off his chin. Well, whizzle me dead, the captain said, them words that flowed from his mouth. We're lost, I fear, if the wind don't veer and blow a while from the south. Well, whizzle me dead, no sooner, he said, them words that flowed from his mouth, then the wind veered round with a hurricane sound and blowed straight in from the south. Well, we opened our eyes with wide surprise, never a word to say, for in changing her tack, the wind blowed back the things that she blowed away. She blowed the tars back onto the spars back onto the mast. Back came the sails and the pails and the nails that into the ship stuck fast. And before we could look, she blowed the cook back into the galley coop. Back came the cans and kettles and pans without even spilling the soup. And she blowed the fire back into the stove and it burned in its proper place. And we all of us cheered when she blowed the beard back onto the captain's face. There's more of my tale, said the mariner, hail, that'll jigger your lights and soup. But I ain't worth a darn and spinning a yarn that wanders away from the truth. That wanders away from the truth. Thank you. Well, how many here like salmon? Do you know all the different kinds of salmon? Well, back when I was singing kids' songs, I was looking for a song about fish, and I found this song that Pete Seeger did and Burl Ives did called The Song of the Fishes. But it was all about the fish of the East Coast, you know, the bluefish and striped bass and all those things. So I said, well, I need to change it. And that's what folk singers do sometimes, is we'll take a song and update it or make it so that it's more appropriate for the region. So here's the Song of the Fishes Northwest style. Come all you bold fishermen and listen to me. I'll sing you a song of the fish of the sea. Blow you winds, westerly, westerly blow. We're bound for the southward, so steady she goes. Up jumps the king salmon, the largest of all. We call 'em Chinook, spring, summer, and fall. Next comes the sockeye, the males they turn red. They eat no herring but krill instead. Then there's the silver, one great fighting fish. We call 'em the coho, they're great on a dish. So blow you winds, westerly, westerly blow. We're bound for the southward, so steady she goes. Then comes the pinks, they swim with the hump. We call 'em humpies, so many do jump. Then there's chum salmon, some call it the dog. The bears in Alaska, they eat them like hogs. Then there's the kokanee, it's landlocked, you know. They live in our streams and lakes melt with snow. So blow you winds, westerly, westerly blow. We're bound for the southward, so steady she goes. Up jumps the bold fisherman, stalwart and grim. He scoops him up in his net within. So blow you winds, westerly, westerly blow. gentleman in the audience tonight that's a really good storyteller, Dan O'Quinn over here. And one day I was listening to one of his stories and I just cracked up laughing. I thought, oh, that's funny. And I told it quite a few times. That's what storytellers do. We steal each other's material. That's fair, as long as you're not trying to make $1 million or anything. And I thought about it for a long time, and I said, wait a minute, I should make a song about it. And so I did just recently. This one's called Fisherman's Luck. Early morning fishing. Oh wait, wrong key. Oh, sorry. I gotta go back to I knew something was wrong. Early morning fishing out on the bay. There's hope for fisherman's luck each and every day. Rowboats by the score, setting out their line. One lucky boat gets the most fish every time. Back up on the dock, they all wonder what the hey. How does he do it? None could really say. Back in the pub, he told them how it's done. After hearing his advice, they set out on the run. When I wake up each morning with me wife laying there, if she's on her left side, then port side will be fair. If she's on her right, then on starboard side I go. That's the way I fish. It works quite well, you know. Well, then a fisherman who was new to rowing on the bay asked him a question that brings a laugh today. What if your wife is laying there, flat on her back? Well, that's the day I stay right there and go fishing in the sack. Oh, early morning fishing out on the bay. There's hope for fisherman's luck each and every day. Rowboats by the score, setting out their line. One lucky boat gets the most fish every time.